The first thing that bothered me wasn't what he said. It was the fact that he said it before I told him anything. This happened a few years ago when I was living alone in a city I'd only moved to recently. I was still finding my feet, you know? I didn't know many people yet, which is why I relied on taxis a lot to get around. That night, it was absolutely pouring rain, one of those classic city downpours that just soaks you in seconds. To make things worse, my phone battery was flashing that dreaded red symbol, about to die at any moment. So, instead of calling a ride through an app like I normally would, I did something I rarely did. I flagged down a cab on the street. An old-school yellow taxi pulled over, its headlights cutting through the rain. The driver looked completely normal. Middle-aged, clean-shaven, and he gave me a polite nod as I approached. Honestly, nothing about him stood out. He just seemed like any other cabbie you'd find on a rainy night. I pulled open the heavy back door, slid onto the worn vinyl seat, and shut the door behind me, the sound a dull thud against the roar of the rain. I was about to give him my destination, the words forming on my lips, but before I could say a single word, he pulled away from the curb. Then he said it. Same place as last time, right? I just froze for a second. My mind raced, trying to place his face. Had I ridden with him before? No, I was sure of it. I laughed it off a little awkwardly. I figured he must have mistaken me for someone else. It happens. I don't think so, I said, trying to sound casual. I've never had you before. He didn't look back at me in the rearview mirror. He just kept his eyes fixed on the rain-slicked road ahead. No, he said, his voice completely calm, almost matter-of-fact. I'm pretty sure I have. That was the first real flicker of unease. A little knot tightened in my stomach. But again, I tried to rationalize it. I told myself that in a big city, drivers see thousands of faces. It's easy to get people mixed up. I took a breath and finally gave him my address. He just nodded, as if I'd just confirmed something for him. Yeah, he said quietly. That's what I thought. The rest of the ride started in silence, a heavy, uncomfortable silence. The only sounds were the rhythmic thump of the windshield wipers and the hiss of the tires on the wet pavement. I kept glancing down at my phone, using the last dregs of its battery to watch the GPS dot. I was making sure he wasn't taking any strange detours or wrong turns. He wasn't. In fact, he was driving the exact fastest route home. That should have been reassuring. It should have made me feel better. But for some reason, it did the exact opposite. It made me more uncomfortable. How did he know the shortcut so well? We were about halfway there when he spoke again, his voice cutting through the quiet. You usually get home around this time, he said. It wasn't a question, it was a statement. Later on weekends, though, my heart started pounding against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat of fear. My hands felt cold. How? How do you know that? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. For the first time, he glanced at me in the rearview mirror, and the small, unreadable smile touched his lips. I drive nights, he said simply. You start to notice patterns. Patterns. My pattern. The thought sent a chill straight through me. I didn't say another word for the rest of the trip. I just stared out the window, watching the familiar streets of my neighborhood slide by, but they didn't feel familiar anymore. They felt alien, watched. When we finally pulled up in front of my apartment building, the relief I expected didn't come. I just sat there for a moment, frozen. I watched him take out a small spiral-bound notepad that was sitting on the console next to him. He clicked a pen and marked something down on the page. What's that? I asked, my curiosity getting the better of my fear. He flipped the page closed without showing me. Just mileage, he said, his voice still unnervingly calm. I fumbled with my wallet, paid him as quickly as I could, probably giving him way too much of a tip. I just wanted out of that car. I scrambled out into the rain and practically ran towards the entrance of my building. As I was fumbling for my keys, I heard him call out through his still open window, "Lock your door tonight." I didn't turn around. I didn't dare look back. I just jammed the key in the lock, threw the door open, and slammed it shut behind me, leaning against it, my heart hammering. The next morning, an email from my landlord was waiting in my inbox. It was a building-wide security alert. It mentioned that several residents had reported a taxi driver for unsettling behavior for stalking passengers. The description matched him perfectly. I never took a street cab again after that night. It makes you wonder how many people are watching. How many people notice your patterns? Thanks for listening. If you like this story and want to hear more, don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay safe out there.